How's it going, everybody? This is Rice and Beans with our special guest host, Spencer Breslin. Today we got on our awesome guest, DJ Bob. Tell him what's up, Bob.
How are you guys?
We're doing good. Thanks for coming on the show, Bob.
You got it.
So today we're going to be talking about how you can be creative, but still have, limitations, disability, all of that stuff. Bob,
we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, though. But Bob,
we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but, that's one thing we want to highlight.
So, can you talk about that experience, Bob?
Okay, what?
About
just,
a YouTube creator that has a disability. And
how,
how
I'm more of a podcast kind of thing. But I've done pretty much everything. So, I guess before I get into specifics, I just want to tell a bit about my background. So, at the age of 2.5, I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. And cerebral palsy is a birth defect, which happens when you are born prematurely. I was born 3 months early. And because of that, my mobility is a little bit weak, and I cannot walk. I use a wheelchair to get around. But, and there are other limitations too. But, as a kid, while most kids were watching cartoons, I was too. I was also watching, the latest video on TRL or whatever it was. It was like this. I was because I couldn't go outside that much as a kid due to my physical limitations. TV and radio were my friends. So finally, when a medium like podcasting came around, I was excited.
And it was kind of like an equalizer, Bob, where you were on the same playing field as everyone.
And I totally relate to that, dude. I was always grew up a single child, definitely, an art nerd, actor, artist type. I literally talk to myself in the mirror all day long, but I don't have a reason for it. Other than being a nerdy single child, so it's I relate to that, man, really.
essentially I don't either. I could I could watch the kids play outside, but my reasoning was, if I can't join them, why am I here?
I get that.
So, but, I created my own fun, and I would always record fake radio shows, and then when podcasting came around, it became the cool thing to do. And I've been doing this podcast for 11 years.
Wow. And where can we find you, Bob? Just so, all our listeners know how to listen to you, man.
You can head to djbombshow.com. We're on a little bit of a hiatus right now due to some personal stuff. But once I get that sorted out, we'll be right back. But we've got an archive of episodes to keep you guys entertained and enlightened, and it's just fun conversations just like this with creative people.
And
I wouldn't call this a fun conversation or us creative people, but
hey, we're using those very, very, very liberally. Hey, creative, funny people. So, Bob, how do we know each other? Just so all of our listeners know.
Well, we know each other because, all right.
Oh yeah. Why don't you? Oh, Bob, yeah. Tell Spencer the story about how we met. Actually, he'll get a kick out of that.
Before that, did he see it? What you? Before I? Okay. So.
Okay. This sounds scandalous, Bob.
Right.
It is a little scandalous, man. We're calling you out here, Bob.
So there was a point in time when I was a kid where my favorite movie was The Cat in the Hat.
There we go. Whoa. You got 2 stars right here.
There we go.
I'm taking one away because you said Cat in the Hat was your favorite movie.
Someone else can go screw themselves.
And I rewatched it one time, and it didn't quite hold up as well in my book.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
And it was one of those things where you forget who you're friends with on Facebook because you have so many friends.
Were you slamming Cat in the Hat, Bob?
Yeah, he was talking a little bit of crap about Cat in the Hat. I'm like, oh, I gotta tag Spencer in this. This is gonna be awesome.
No, but here's the thing. I totally forgot that, Stephen, and then you and I were friends on Facebook. You popped up. I'm like, oh no.
Yep. DJ Bob had to learn the valuable lesson.
What didn't hold up on Cat in the Hat?
He had to learn a valuable lesson about careful about who you talk crap about because you never know who's gonna see it or read it, man.
But now, like, I watch it now and I just laugh at it, so it's redeemable. So it's fine.
On the third viewing.
And you know what, man? We actually became a lot better friends because of that, dude. We kind of bonded over you talking crap because I think it's a crappy movie too. I mean, Spencer does too, if he's honest. So I mean,
I'll be honest. I have a question.
Michael Myers is a genius. Like,
I have a question for you about it, Spencer. I have a question for you, Spencer, about that movie. So, and this is really inside baseball here, but I just want to know, on the DVD menu, you did those little, like, inserts?
Yeah.
Like, were you guys given what to say, or was it, like, say whatever?
If I'm remembering correctly, I know that, like, we shot all those, I think while we were doing publicity for the movie, maybe, in like this, like it was like in a hotel, but like in one of those like business center rooms, and they set up like a green screen.
Like a conference room, yeah.
Like a conference room, kind of. And they didn't like specifically, like they had a script and everything, but and this is going back almost 20 years now, so I was probably 10 or 11.
I know, I just thought about it, I'm like, this.
Yeah, no, I do remember it. I think they gave us kind of like a rough guideline of what to say.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because it seemed so free-flowing. That was just a fun little
They let us be a bit more off the cuff, I think, because Dakota and I were always pretty good in, like, talking off the top of our heads. So I think if they had a guideline, but we kind of riff on it a little bit and all that stuff.
So, now are you saying now that, like, Dakota's character would have an iPhone rather than a Palm Pilot or whatever it was?
Oh yeah, that's right. She probably would. Yeah.
Show him a Freedom phone.
Yeah. No, she'd have one of those Elon Musk's Neuralink's.
Yeah, she'd have the Elon Musk Neuralink.
Yeah, whatever phone sponsors our show is what she's wearing.
Exactly.
Is the real truth.
Apple.
And like my character would probably.
Wow, do you think
character would be sent to military school for his like Adderall addiction or something? Like that's like what it would be in 2021.
Yes.
Well, no, like one thing that's a fact is that like the Dr. Seuss estate said they're done making live action movies because of Cat in the Hat.
I have to tell you.
Here's the thing: it's like as the movies they made afterwards were kind of shitty.
One of my friends' college instructors was the director of the movie.
Oh, Bo Welch.
Oh.
And he is like super, like he refuses to talk about it.
I think he had a pretty traumatic experience with it because it was his first movie, and it's one of those movies with like a $200 million budget. You had Mike Myers at the time was the biggest.
Yeah, there was a lot of like publicity for it and everything.
Yeah,
but that's my little tangent. I know we have more.
I love that your question about the movie was about like the DVD like menu screen inserts. That was the most specific.
I'm dying because Spencer, because like my DVD of yours was I had Raising Helen.
Oh yeah, Raising.
Oh, that shit like 10 times.
They used to play that a lot on like the OWN network, like the Oprah Winfrey network.
Yeah.
So they used to play it like 3 times a week during the day for like 10 years on that channel, and every time it would play, my grandmother would call my dad and say, Michael, they're playing the movie Raising Helen on TV. And my dad would be working and he would just snap and be like, not now, Grandma. And then she'd be like, shame on you, your children are on television. He'd say, Grandma, and hang up on her.
Oh, dude, that is so cute and so sincere. And I totally relate to that too, man. Honestly.
I'm gonna save all my questions for you, Spencer, when you're on my podcast.
I'd love to come on. Yeah, I want to come on.
So,
DJ Bob, you're our guest now, so you're my purview. You got questions. You're wearing.
I do want to say one thing though, just before I lose track of it. I would love to see a reboot of Cat in the Hat, but instead of the cat, it's a Nanny 911, and we have like an English nanny that comes and like babysits Spencer in current life.
It'll probably be a remake.
But I have to run somebody over.
Dude, it's gonna be a remake of Cat in the Hat, starring Tekashi 6ix9ine as the cat.
Oh God,
that's probably happening. Don't speak too soon. And what happened to Mike?
Oh,
like Mike Myers has been funny his entire career, and is he just rich or like?
Yeah,
Dave Chappelle.
It's so funny, like the memory, like, cause when those movies came out, DVD was such a big deal.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it was real, and VHS was even a real thing. Both. Remember the half where it was half a VHS, half a DVD player.
I had the VHS first, and then I bought the DVD of Cat in the Hat. So there you go. That's where your residuals are going, Spencer.
There you go.
Man, I really love getting those 5-cent fucking residual checks every couple weeks, man. They really help.
Of like burning out. You got a SpongeBob shirt on, Bob. What are your thoughts on how like SpongeBob is making, even though the original SpongeBob is dead, they're making more SpongeBob?
Well,
is it weird? Because to me, it's weird. And they gotta let a good thing die.
Because I've talked to people from Nickelodeon for the pod, I kind of have an intel on certain.
Dan Schneider, you talk to Dan Schneider, Bob?
Sorry.
Take all those sandals.
Sorry, not sorry.
Just ignore my co-host.
No comment. Yeah.
So,
wear some high heels for Dan Schneider.
So because I've spoken to them, I know that certain projects that seem like after he passed away weren't greenlit. They actually were. Like the Camp Carl thing where their kids in their summer camp, he greenlit that years prior. Yeah. But everything after that, no. So that's redeemable, but everything else, no.
But I think there's kind of a trend. No. Like Space Jam 2 just came out.
Don't get me started.
We gotta let a good thing.
Oh, actually, I do. I want to get you started.
No.
Do tell. Do tell. No, because I actually worked with the did Joe Pytka direct the second one too? I know he directed.
Malcolm Lee. It was Malcolm Lee. Spike Lee's.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Okay.
Apparently it's terrible. I haven't seen it. I have HBO Max. Apparently it's terrible. But regardless, that was a movie that did not need a sequel. It did not.
You know how I have interesting facts. One of my friends was an animator on Space Jam 2. He started working on it in 2014. That's when they started developing it. He watches the movie with his family, and he's not in the credits.
Wow.
They forgot to credit him.
Wow.
Yeah. Whoa.
That's a low blow.
That's scummy. Because they give credit for even the most worthless people.
And
he cleaned the lint out of Christopher Nolan.
And he's doing all the toy design too. So his work is out there. It's just not. He's not credited. It's not fair. But
how funny is that they didn't play it in China either? The Space Jam 2 did not play in China. For all the sucking up LeBron did to China, they didn't.
And I saw the movie. It was a slam for sure. A slam to my stomach. I hated that.
Oh, Bob.
I
love you, Bob. Thank you for saying that, man.
I like the first one so much. I'm nervous to see it because Sam epitomized my childhood.
Okay,
but MJ, Bill Murray,
one of my favorite things about the first Space Jam, and Spencer, you'll appreciate this because you're not even in the movie. There's a song on the soundtrack where Bugs Bunny raps,
Yeah.
and do you know who it's written by?
Ooh,
Jay-Z.
Wow.
I didn't know that. Whoa,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Bugs Bunny's from the hood. Bugs Bunny's got some flow to him.
It is great.
Stole it.
Look it up after this is done.
Okay.
But so that's my thing on Space Jam 2. But
What
I
do you-
could go on for hours.
Okay, I do gotta ask you.
The complaint that the reviewers were talking about is that it was like the biggest ad for all of like Warner Brothers properties.
Yeah.
Like,
It is. It is.
It was like an IP bomb. That's all it was. Like,
That's what I heard, and it's Space Jam, which is for kids. And I heard there was like Rick and Morty in there, and like
But nothing. Okay.
everything that has
Okay,
a
can we?
yeah.
I while we're here at that type of, while we're talking about that, the first type of thing I saw like that, bringing it back, was Cat in the Hat with the Universal Studios bit.
Oh, that was funny though. That was
Oh, you're right.
That was great.
You're right. I mean, hey, that is, we are the pot calling the kettle black here.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Well, I have to keep bringing up that movie because that's how Steven
No,
and I
that was
bonded.
different. That was clearly tongue in cheek. I heard with Space Jam 2, it was like just like so obnoxious.
like over.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
that was like a gag in Ken Hat.
everybody's got a motive.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I do want your take on one thing, though, Bob, while we're talking about Space Jam 2. And I know you're a gentleman, unlike the three of us, so you don't have to comment on it. But I do want your take on them taking away Lola's boobs in the movie. What's your opinion on that?
Hard-hitting news, most important news of the day.
You gotta do what
Obviously.
you got. Like, here's the deal. Kids are gonna see them anyway, so why take them out?
Hey, fair enough, man. I mean,
Because she's getting played by Zendaya. Zendaya's not.
I don't care.
Could be.
if anything, they should give her bigger boobs because Zendaya's playing her.
Well,
Right?
you can find those on IMAX, but that's different.
Such a weird.
Bob, keeps it real.
Debates on like Doctor Who's a woman now or Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who gives a shit about Bugs Bunny's boob size? Like,
I love Zendaya. I'll say that.
I'm not.
Okay, what? What's
she's warming up.
Spider-Man?
I saw her today in the trailer for the new Dune movie, and that was.
Oh, that was
What
fine.
Spider-Man movie was she in? I like
amazing.
that. The Spider-Man.
She's actually dating Tom Holland right now. I'm gonna have to kill that guy. Remind me to kill Tom Holland one day.
That
I'll
seems
run
like
him
some
over.
Hollywood made up stuff. But like regardless, like she's growing on me because Emma Stone was someone I never was a fan of. And then she's like, really, I'm like, wow. And then you look back at her career,
Yeah.
like, great actress.
I
all that.
on the
I
animated
have to
front.
go in history as something very positive and awesome.
I mean, man, if I could shoot webs out of my dick, I'd be banging Zendaya too. I mean,
On the animated front, what do you guys think of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Do you guys see it?
Great movie.
I haven't seen it.
One of
Liked it.
the best ones. One of the best Marvel movies, period.
sure, yeah.
Haven't
Yeah,
seen
and
it.
I'm a huge Lord and Miller fan. I think they're
Yeah.
guys that directed that.
It's so funny. I got to talk with the co-creators. One of the co-creators of How I Met Your Mother recently.
Well, I greenlit that show, Bob. I
And,
greenlit that show because I was in a test audience, and they were like showing you random TV shows, and the show was the How I Met Your Mother pilot, and I gave it all 10s and 5 stars. So
And Craig is like
You're welcome.
he ended up writing because he's friends with Lord and Miller. He ended up writing on the Mitchells versus the Machines, which I loved, but that's another story for another day. So Steven, you specifically asked me about Medicaid and disability stuff, like how many.
Yeah.
a little bit of a turn, but okay, let's talk about Medicaid and disability.
I thought about it. I'm sorry. I just really,
Do it.
Go ahead, buddy. Yeah, no.
well,
Talk about it.
I just want to I just want to say this. I have this $30,000 chair that I'm sitting in right now. But Medicare or Medicaid won't give me like a portable chair to go out places because they don't think it's a necessity. They think it's a convenience. That's where their heads are at.
Up their asses. That's where their heads are at.
And I had to
probably cheaper, I bet, too.
And I know that, and it's like, that's why it's like, what if I don't want to bring this big, bulky chair with me? I mean, it's great, but like, I just want something lightweight, but we got to pay out of pocket. And that's messed up.
And what's the process, Bob, for like being able to appeal that? Is it just like shit out of luck, or do they like say like?
What you do is you ask and you explain like the best you can, and you really have to it's kind of like manipulating someone in the best way possible.
Yeah.
You have to find the exact right words to get them right where you want them, and it's sort of frustrating.
It is, man.
That's my dating strategy.
Oh boy. Well, Bob,
I'm sorry,
so much for this being our least political episode ever. Bob, I really tried, man, but I'll be honest, that's where I want my tax money going to, man. Not bombs and war, you know.
No, absolutely, Bob. Like I want,
agree.
like, and I think it's ridiculous how like we spend all this money on Medicaid and Medicare, and they still make it harder for the people.
And you know what? It's really unfortunate because that's part of the reason. Right now, our big thing that my parents are doing for me is they're trying to find staff to help us because I'm getting older. I'm turning 27 in December.
You're not
and
old.
It's like,
you're not old, Bob.
but it's like,
yeah.
But it's like they can't lift me anymore.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like 6 foot something. So it's like it's anything to make it easier on me and my parents, because it's like I want to give them time to themselves too. So we're kind of working on that, and even that's a process too, because I essentially have to interview them and make sure that they're the right fit. And
oh God, yeah, man, because all the abuse that takes place. Jesus, you know.
And
also
know it's different political perspectives, but none of us want you to go through that crap. And it's ridiculous that all the red tape.
The one thing I will say, I would rather interview them, and this because I don't want somebody that will treat me in a condescending manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not my like.
You don't be babied or yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something straight up. I did an interview once with a certain pop singer in the 90s, and my equipment wasn't working, and we were having technical difficulties, and they got on the phone and they said, "I don't have time for this retard," and hung up.
What does this pop singer's name rhyme with, if we could ask you?
Don't answer that. Don't answer that, Bob.
Answer that.
Don't answer that, Bob.
I'll give you a tiny hint.
Give us a hint, Bob. Give us a hint. Because that's ridiculous.
They're not an all-star.
Hey, now, you're a rock star.
Yeah.
Get your name on, get paid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's messed up.
Fuck Smash Mouth. That's what I gotta say.
And that was in our second year of the show, and I'm still traumatized by it.
That sounds worse than walking on the sun. I'm sorry. I had to.
Wow. Well,
but Bob, that's terrible. And like on this show, we'll call you out. We don't treat anyone differently.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, we're gonna make fun of you and bust your balls just like I do Spencer.
And we're so glad to have you on, Bob.
Yeah, dude.
And Steven, before we wrap up, I just have a quick shout out to make for a mutual friend of ours.
Go for it, DJ Rick Adams.
Yes, and if you really want, this is a shout out to him and a self promotion for me. But for our 11th anniversary of the show, DJ Rick Adams was a host of this children's live radio show on AOL, and he was actually the guy that gave me the name DJ Bob when I was 12 years old. He's been in my life for over 15 years. So what I had him do was I had him interview me. So the tables were turned on my podcast. It was like super therapeutic to talk to him in that way because you met him, like he's super goofy and super crazy.
Right.
But
well, I was gonna say, Bob, you are showing your age. I mean, a radio show on AOL. God, man, you must be getting old.
You are 27 or 37.
You are 27, homie.
Yeah. But like, his show was the show that made me realize that I wanted to do this. So, like,
Shout out to him.
like, there's nobody better for that episode for our 11-year anniversary than him. And if you want to listen to that, go to djbobshow.com or your favorite podcasting platform.
And DJ Bob, we'll put that in the links. And so I'm kind of a contrarian. And like our last episode, we had a little controversy because we were talking about Dan Schneider, and there were a lot of negative comments about that. And so that makes me want to talk about Dan Schneider more. So Bob, anything you want to say about Dan Schneider?
Oh God.
I do have a Dan Schneider. I do have a Dan Schneider adjacent story.
Oh, Bob, don't take the bait, Bob. Don't take the bait.
And if anyone comments on the show by Dan Schneider,
That's how we go. I'm so excited for you guys to hear this.
Me too.
I'm a little worried, but go for it. And on that note, we are going to end the show, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all had a good time. Not sure if there's going to be another podcast, so be sure to like, drop a subscribe, and
there's going to be another podcast, but we might get murdered. So
I'm sorry.
You're good. With any luck, we'll be back next week. Much love, everybody. Stay safe out there. Rice, Bean, Breslin,
and
out.
If you want to make some slick remarks about Dan Schneider, we're going to talk about next episode. That's how
I'll come back just for that. No. I will do a full hour's worth.
Well, thanks, everyone. I'm ending the episode now.
That's it.
Later, guys. Peace.